Hello, and welcome to the final episode of the Painted Playground webinar series. Today, I will be giving you some information about sustainable playground paint practices. Before we begin, let me tell you a little bit about me and Fit and Fun Playscapes. My name is Pam, and I'm the founder and CEO of Fit and Fun Playscapes. I'm also an architect and planner, and I'm a PTA parent and a mom, and I hold a number of board positions in our local Chamber of Commerce, Scouting America, Abilities First, and I'm on the advisory council for the Women's Enterprise Development Council. I'm very proud to support these organizations, as building a strong community has always been one of my personal core values. About Fit and Fun, we're celebrating 15 years this May. We've helped thousands of schools and other organizations engage millions of kids with our outdoor, indoor, and portable activities to really get people of all ages and abilities moving. And we are happy to help you with this free webinar resource. Looking at a list of our attendees this week, again, I see mostly educators, some parks and recs, some community health organizations, health departments, and PTAs and PTOs. Most of you are looking to paint this summer, and some are painting this spring. As a group, we have some that are just beginning to explore painting their playground, and others already finalizing their layout. Please feel free to collaborate with each other by introducing yourselves on the chat. Let's recap. On previous episodes, we've learned about the importance of movement and physical activity on our youth. We learned how painted playground markings can be an economical option to bring physical activity to schools and communities. We've learned about paint and stencil options and how to organize or zone the games using the Fit and Fun playground planning formula so that they are safe, impactful, and inclusive. Last week, we learned about how to organize and plan your team, the process, and to schedule a successful paint day. This episode, we will focus on reusable supplies and products, how long different paint lasts, how to maintain your playground for years to come, and how to best extend the life of your painted playground. In terms of stencil materials, which we discussed in depth in episode 2, Painting 101, we created this handy chart comparing the materials based upon reusability, recyclability, and sustainability. Let's review. First, we have the PETG material, which is the material that Fit and Fun uses. That is very much reusable. You can get many, many paintings out of the same stencil. It has a recyclability rating that is very high because of that, and also because the material is recyclable in many locations. So overall, the sustainability level is high. Next up, it's the Mylar, which is like a polyester film. That is definitely reusable as well. The recyclability rating is low because of those polyester strings that are in there. It's often not recyclable. So we gave it an overall sustainability level rating of medium. Next up is the polyethylene materials. That's HDPE and LDPE. That is reusable as well. There are some structural things to the material that makes it a little cumbersome times depending on the thickness, but it's quite often used. That has a recyclability rating that is medium to high, and an overall sustainability level of medium to high. Next up, we have corrugated plastic, and that is reusable as well. That's also cumbersome. We talked about that in episode 2, super cumbersome, but it's typically not recyclable. You can't put it in a recycling bin. And so overall, the sustainability level is medium. Then we have cardboard. Cardboard is it's reusable, but it's limited in that once the paint touches the material, the cardboard material, it tends to degrade or delaminate and become unstable. The recyclability rating is medium. And yes, cardboard is typically recyclable in all municipalities. We downgraded that a little bit because of the possibility and the very well possibility that once the paint hits the cardboard, then the municipality would not likely accept that as a recyclable product. So overall, that sustainability level rating we gave is a low to medium rating. And lastly, paper. Really, it's not a great product for reusability. Using it just once is really all that you're going to get. So it's typically recyclable. Again, the same issue as the cardboard. Once the paint hits the material, you can't put paper or cardboard in the recycling bin with layers and layers of paint on there. So overall, we give that a sustainability level rating of low. Please note that the recycling ratings here are based on general standards and that each municipality has its own standards that may differ from what we've shared with you. So you definitely want to check that out locally and comply, please. Let's talk about paint. We talked a bit about this in episode 2 as well. We've got traffic paint that typically can last 4 to 5 years. That has a very high sustainability level because of that. Next up, we have concrete stains that can last between 4 and 5 years as well. And so that has a high sustainability level as well. Then we've got porch and floor paint. That can last 3 to 4 years. That's pretty good too, but it's chemically different from the other two paints here, and it typically doesn't last as long. So we gave that a medium to high sustainability level. We've got spray paint up next, and we've given that an estimated lifespan of 2 to 3 years. Sometimes that can last longer. So overall, we're giving that a sustainability level of medium. Just want to note the spray paint that Fit and Fun sells can be recycled in some municipalities. So we purchased that from Europe, which has higher standards. And so we're proud to say that our cans can be recycled in many municipalities here in the US. Last up, we have chalk spray. That really should only last a few months, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little less. And because of that, we're giving it a low sustainability level. Let's go over the typical paint supplies. Roller frames, high quality paintbrushes, plastic buckets, that can last for years if well cleaned right after the use. So that's really nice. Those are all very much recyclable. However, let's look at the recyclability ratings. For the roller frames, those are typically metal. Some municipalities will accept that, so we've given that a medium to high sustainability level. You do need to check that out. The paintbrushes, typically you can't put those in for recycling, so the overall sustainability level is medium. For plastic buckets, depending on the actual composition of those buckets, we're giving it a high rating, but you need to check it out, turn it over, see what the recyclable rating is on it. Overall, we're going to give that a high sustainability level, thinking that you'll get a lot of use out of those and probably, in more municipalities, the ability to recycle those, but it has to be clean. For roller covers, there's definitely some limitations. The pavement is rough, and unlike interior painting, they can really get beat up on the nap of the roller. That's the fuzzy part of the roller, especially on asphalt. You might get a little bit more life out of it onto concrete, but typically you're going to get just a couple of uses on that day. If you're going to paint afterwards and try to clean it, even washing it, that's going to be really hard. Overall, the recyclability is low. Those typically are not something you can put in the recycling container. So overall, that's a low to medium sustainability level. The wood mixing sticks, those stirrers, that's what we're talking about. They're typically wood. Wood, yes, you would think that it can be recycled. It certainly can be reused again and again to mix paint. but they're really not recyclable because of all the paint that stays on them. You can't put them in the recycling bin. So you end up throwing those out. And so overall, the sustainability level for those are medium. And then we've got the plastic sheeting here. The plastic sheeting, right here, is it's got some limited use to it depending on the thickness. So you have to look, the thicker, it'll last longer. But also the composition, you have to see if it adheres with the municipality. A lot of times it's not, you're not able to put it into the recycling bin, especially the thickness and the composition that's like those plastic bags that so many municipalities are banning. The recyclability rating is also low, and overall, the sustainability level is low, as you can understand. And then lastly, those plastic paint trays. I'm not talking about the metal one. I'm talking about those thin plastic ones that a lot of volunteer groups use. And nobody wants to hang on to those. I get it. But please note that those are really tricky to reuse after that initial paint day, unless someone really cleans them and takes care of them and stores them properly. You typically can't recycle those, and so overall, we're giving that a low sustainability level. Again, check your local municipal regulations. Let's talk about now maintaining your painted playground. This is some really good news. If your pavement is in good condition, chose high quality paint, made sure it's compatible with the pavement. It's clean. It was painted in proper weather conditions. Rain and snow was moved out quickly. You didn't have a lot of vehicles going over it, and it cured properly. These games should really last for years without much maintenance. Periodically, it would be advisable to remove or blow off with a leaf blower the leaves, the sticks, mulch, get rid of the gum and the trash. That's pretty much common sense. All those things can be like an abrasive effect and wear out that paint surface, as you can imagine. Let me share with you some ways to extend the life of your painted playground. You should seriously consider restricting vehicular traffic on the games. The weight of buses and cars on top of painted surfaces, especially if there's a number of coats, could be problematic, especially in really hot areas. But even here in New York, that pavement can get easily over 100 degrees. And so you don't want to have that affect the paint, the performance of the paint. And so you want to be careful on that. Don't use a snowplow or a shovel. We understand that sometimes you just, in some regions, you just can't get away from that. Just know that's going to wear sooner. If you can use a snow blower, perhaps a stiff bristled broom, if it's a small area and it's manageable, we know you'll get some pushback on that from facilities or maintenance, but that's the best, if you can do that, that's great. Try not to use salts, use chemical-free ice removers instead if it really warrants it. Yeah, and you want to clear the rocks, the pebbles, the mulch, the sticks from the games as often as you can. Some kids really love picking up those things out on the recess anyway, little recess helpers, playground helpers. Regularly check the surfaces, the painted surfaces for gum and trash and remove those. Keep the areas from flooding. Wet, surfaces, painted surfaces will definitely degrade quicker. Shady areas as well might degrade faster than sun, but it's kind of hit or miss with those. And if cracks develop, you want to fill them in every now and then so they don't increase or expand. And when I say you, it's usually the custodians or facilities or maintenance staff doing that, not volunteers, teachers, PTAs, no. But you can bring these conditions to their attention so they can take care of them. Okay, so everything's painted. It looks beautiful, great day of painting. But a few years later, you're starting to look at the playground. And you're saying, "Oh, it's looking a little beat up." And that's a good thing. That means kids are using them, the community's using them, and you're getting a lot of use and enjoy with with the activities. But let's say you're just like, ah, I can't look at it anymore, and you want to refresh. That's a great idea. You can choose to refresh or touch up the paint over time. Before you do so, again, these are similar in the last slide. You want to make sure that your painted areas are clean. You want to remove any chipped or peeling paint so that the new paint bonds really well to those surfaces. If you bought stencils, you want to take those out. You want to make sure that they were stored flat, make sure they're as flat as can be and intact and whole. And you can use those stencils to touch up as you need. You schedule repainting when the weather is consistent, just like your initial painting. You've got those instructions on the cans. Pull out your well-stored cans of paint, and make sure the reapplication happens under those same conditions. And then you can touch them up as needed and just allow that paint to cure again as originally instructed. So, this is the last episode of our 5-part series, and I want to leave you with this thought. A lot of our participants are schools and organizations that serve schools. And we inserted this into this is actually a social media post that we post regularly. I'd like you to think about this. For just 1 cent per student per day, schools can create inclusive recess environments that help kids be better learners. Think about that. Let me break that math down for you. So let's say you spent $5,000 on stencils and paint, right? 50-50, $2,500 for stencils, $2,500 for a paint kit. It's going to last about 5 years, especially use that high quality paint. That's about $1,000 a year, right? Take that $1,000 a year and divide that by the average number of school days, which is 180 school days. That's $5.55 a day. Take that $5.55 per day cost and divide that by the average number of elementary students per day, which is about 470 students this year. That equates to about 1 cent per student per day. Check my math, but I think overall, when you're spending $5,000 over 5 years, that's a great way to approach your schools and communities on the economical benefit of creating this type of project in your community. There's so many benefits as well. Check out episode 1 of this webinar series. So I just want to leave you with that. This concludes the Painted Playground webinar series. I want to thank you all for joining us on these calls, on these webinars, and I hope that we've helped you learn more about the importance of movement, understand the application options out there, explore how to plan an inclusive experience, how to manage a paint day, and finally, how to extend and maintain your playground markings, all helping you to paint colorful, engaging activities to improve health for your community and school. I would like to encourage you to reach out to us or access our free online resources at any time. Check out our over 150 blogs covering all sorts of topics from playgrounds and recess to sensory paths and special needs. We have a grants page where some options are there for funding these types of projects. We've got a robust online shopping format for all of our products, as well as inspirational and informational pages. We've got a great catalog and flip book to peruse. And we will continue to provide professional development and webinars and informational support like this to many communities and districts, focusing on things like recess, sensory, social emotional learning, early education, character education, as well as to specialty groups like landscape architects about planning. We are accessible by phone, chat, email, or virtual meet to help our customers get the information they need to make the best decisions that suit their needs. Thank you once again for joining me to discuss sustainable playground paint practices. This concludes the Painted Playground webinar series from Vision to Sustainability. Here is the coupon code. And as a final reminder, within the next few days, we will send you a recording of this webinar, a PDF of the full presentation, and a short informational flyer on this topic, just the bullets like I like it. And please note my contact information if you need a one-on-one meeting. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.